Okay, so you ready to switch over from a sole member tax filing to an S-Corp? I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper into the calculations in this video, as well as how and when, what you need to file and when you need to file it by. So first, I am going to talk about what you need to file. So I don't advise you filing it on your own at all. You should have a CPA. If you're making a profit, as I mentioned, of at least $50,000 in your business, you should have a CPA that knows how to file what's called a 2253 form. That's the form that needs to be filed if you want to become an S-Corp. Oh, if you don't know me, Audrey Faust, business financial coach. And this is the third video in a series where I'm talking about going from a sole member LLC into an S-Corp for tax savings. And I help mainly women business owners understand the financial pieces of their business so they can grow and become more profitable and have the strategies and the mindset to support them. So I'm sharing more today about the tax strategy of filing as an S-Corp instead of a sole member, if you're an LLC, which most businesses are. And often I get people say, I ask them, well, what kind of tax, how do you file? And they'll say, I'm an LLC. But there's two ways you can file, as I mentioned in my previous video. So I'm not going to go into that in any more detail. Reach out if you didn't see the first two, and I can help you find them and where they are housed. So I mentioned a little bit in the previous one about the calculations, but I really want to share with you a little bit deeper. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you a calculation. Now, this is an estimate, as I'm going to preface this with talk to your CPA. But this is an estimate, and so you can better understand when you're talking to your CPA why this might be beneficial for you. There are other factors that may factor in. I don't know what state you're in. I don't know. I'm guessing at some of these charges, you really have to find out and fill out a similar spreadsheet for yourself to really decide before you take that step. Because once you take the step of going from a sole member to an S-Corp, you can't go back. So you want to make sure that it's the right step to take. So I want to be sure that you have the right information here. So I'm going to share my screen, and hold on. There we go. And I'm going to show you a calculation that I did. Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. So you can see it. Okay, hold on. There we go. So here's the calculation. You will have, if you don't already have a financial software like QuickBooks, you will have to get one. This calculation was done in 2024, and it was the QuickBooks Plus is $99 a month. There's a little discount in the beginning. You can also go one level lower and still be able to do everything you need to do. I don't suggest going below that. Essentials is the lowest one I suggest going to, because it's not going to give you all the tools you need to really understand the business finances, understand the financial of your business. So let's just assume you don't have QuickBooks. Okay. If you already do, you can take this cost out. It's not going to cost you any more than you're already paying. $1,200. Payroll. If you run payroll through QuickBooks, the current pricing for that is $672. If you're the only person on payroll, again, they give you a little bit of discount in the beginning to get you in. There are other payroll services you can also look into, like Gusto. The only problem with having a payroll service outside of QuickBooks is you have to understand how to correctly journal entry it into your QuickBooks. So it's you're getting correct financial information inside your QuickBooks. So many times I come across business owners that the payroll information is being put in there incorrectly if they're not running it through QuickBooks. If you're running it through QuickBooks, it does all that for you. So that's the benefit of running it through QuickBooks. The cost of doing an additional tax return, as I mentioned in my previous video, if you go to an S-Corp, you have to file what's called an 1120S. Again, I'm guessing at this amount that it would cost you. When you pick up that phone to call your CPA, ask him, how much is it going to cost me if I'm running QuickBooks and providing you with accurate financial information? How much additional is it going to cost me to have you do this 1120S tax return every single year? These are the annual costs. There will be a cost for your CPA to do the 2255 form. However, that's a one-time cost, so I don't factor that in. So I just estimated $1,500 for your CPA. It may be more, it may be less. I ask that you reach out to them and find out what that number actually is. There are unemployment taxes, federal unemployment tax, as well as state unemployment taxes, and every state is different. So I just estimated that it will cost you $400 in here. Again, you want to find out what's your state unemployment tax. What is that number? What is that going to cost you? Federal unemployment tax costs $56 per year per person. That's not that much, but every state is different. So you need to reach out to your specific state and factor in how much it's going to cost you to pay an unemployment tax. Those are all the fees, okay? Total costs, then, I have calculated up $3,772 per year that it's going to cost you to go from a sole member to an S-Corp. So now let's calculate the savings. So if you have a net profit of $50,000, you could do a reasonable salary. Again, talk with your CPA about this. I'm not giving you tax advice. I'm just giving you ideas. You could have a reasonable salary of $25,000 a year, which you would run through payroll, and that would take all the taxes out. And then you could take the additional profit that you make. Since your salary will be an expense, your profit's going to go down to essentially $25,000. So you take that $25,000 and remove the 15% Social Security and Medicare tax, you have a tax savings of $3,750. So at a net profit of about $50,000, it's a wash. This is when I usually advise people to talk to their CPA. Have their CPA do actual calculations for them. What does it mean? How does this look for me? And then you get to decide. I have rent as a question mark there. If your profit is even more and you want to reduce your profit, let's say you have a $100,000 profit and you want to reduce that profit because you don't want to make your reasonable salary as high. If you have a dedicated home office for your business, again, confirm with your CPA, you can deduct rent from your business for your office, the going rate of rent in your area, what the square footage of your office would cost. Again, this is a number you can discuss with. I'm just empowering you with information to bring to your CPA. So your CPA knows that you've done your homework and that you understand this. Again, I don't advise you filling out the form 2553 is the form. The form has a deadline. So if you want to file as an S-Corp and it's before March 15th, you can file that form, no questions asked. I want to be an S-Corp this year. You file the 2553 form, your CPA files it, you're an S-Corp, you start running a payroll, all good. Yes, you can file it after March, okay? But you have to request a special exception from the IRS. Again, this is something your CPA can do. Request a special exception from the IRS to get it done after March 15th for that current year, but you must run that payroll in the current year. So make sure you have enough time. This is going to take time. You got to set up the whole payroll and get it running, which is going to take time before the end of the year. So, and it's going to take a little while for the IRS to come back. Yes, you can file as an S-Corp, or no, you can't. So you want to still leave enough room in there. I advise getting your form in before March 15th so you can start the year off right. If you're, in like November, December, and you might be better off waiting till the next year to file as an S-Corp because you just might not have enough time. So I hope this makes sense. In my next video, I'm going to share more about the advantages now that you are an S-Corp and how to best position yourself. See you in the next video.